to this edition of Orion Outreach. I'm your host, Kayla Brandon, here with Lynn Gustafson, Director of NOTA. Lynn, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Kayla.
So for people watching, and they might not know this, what is NOTA?
NOTA is the North Oakland Transportation Authority, and we provide transportation services to the residents of Oxford, Addison, and Orion townships who are seniors, disabled, or low income.
Okay, and you guys have some big changes coming, right, in 2014?
We do. We've been in operation since 2001, and we've been funded. Our budget is funded half with federal and state grants, and those grants are coming to an end, and so we're faced with huge budget cuts unless we can pass a millage. So we're asking the voters of Oxford, Addison, and Orion to approve a 0.25 millage to cover up to 5 years to maintain our existing service of 13 routes and to provide capital replacement for our vehicles.
And for people who may not know, what is a 0.25 mil? What does that mean?
A 0.25 mil, that's how you assess property taxes. And for an average homeowner whose home is worth $100,000, they would assess it at half of that, or $50,000. And then you take, it's divided, a mil is basically the tax assessed value divided by your property value, by $1,000 of property value. So what it would really mean to someone who has a value of a home is $100,000, it would cost them $12.50 a year, which is $1 a month, 3 cents a day, in order to keep the service at the current levels.
Wow, and you know, we were talking about this proposed cut that's going to happen.
Yes.
This is inevitable, it has to happen. So who are the people that are going to be affected by this? What are some people that typically ride with you guys?
Well, we have 37,000 rides that we provided last year. We drove over 450,000 miles, and the riders that we, again, are servicing are elderly, disabled, and low income. The disabled would be 47% of our riders. The seniors are 43%, and the rest are for low income going to work. So it really would be a huge impact on this community. It's the vulnerable, I say, in our community, the ones that don't have access to transportation, the ones that really need it.
And, you know, like you had mentioned, they drive them to medical appointments, grocery shopping, therapeutic programs. We actually spoke with a few people that came with you today, so we should take a look at those interviews. So with these new proposed cuts, that means it's going to affect, you know, your transportation. How do you feel about that?
I'm devastated because NOTA took me to therapy for 3 days a week when I had just had my stroke, so I have to thank them for my recovery. And if I can't imagine somebody else having to go through that without NOTA. And also they take me to church every Sunday. So it really is devastating to me. And it can happen in an instant your life changes.
So what do you think of these new proposed cuts?
I don't like them. We need to keep these NOTA buses going. They've been a lifesaver for me. I went into the hospital with a backache and come out like this. And I couldn't ride in the car or anything when I came out. I'd never made therapy if I wasn't able to ride these buses. I haven't had a paycheck since last October, so there's no way I could afford the private ones, and this NOTA has just been a lifesaver.
And what would you say to a voter that's voting on this millage?
Please vote for it. We need it. All of us need it. It could be anybody, any day. So, anybody.
It could be you or your loved ones in a minute that, you know, needs transportation. And if you stay in the house for a month and can't get out or drive, you get a feeling for what it would be like.
Wow, so you saw right there that these people really do need NOTA. They rely on it for their day-to-day operations. So can you tell me more about what NOTA does?
Yes, we operate 13 routes Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. We also operate on the weekends for limited service. We have one bus on Saturday from 8 to 4 and 2 buses on Sunday from 8 to 2 for church only. So they, you know, we take them, again, like you said, to doctor's appointments, to work, to community events. We give them independence where they normally wouldn't have it. You know, if they're in a wheelchair, our drivers will assist them from door to door. So they will go up. It's more than just transportation. They will assist them with groceries. They'll take their wheelchairs, help them into the vehicles, help them get to the correct doctor's appointments. they make sure that they have a return ride. So it's more than just your fixed route service that you get picked up on the corner and get dropped off on the corner. NOTA is much more caring and considerate, where we want to make sure that person's taken care of and that they have a return ride home and that their groceries get up to their door. So NOTA provides just a valuable service to all of our members.
And I would imagine that a lot of the workers for NOTA, the bus drivers, would develop these close relationships with people that they drive every day or every week. So how is that going to affect the workers of NOTA?
It will affect the NOTA workers. Our morale is really affected because it's scary when we're facing a possible cut of half of our service. It will affect the drivers. We'd have to lay off drivers. We'd have to, and all the people that they take, like you said, they become friends with them. And it's sad. I know our riders are very scared. Our drivers talk about it every day, how they're really getting nervous about what would happen because they don't know what they would do without NOTA. There's so many people that don't have other alternatives. They don't have family, they don't have friends. They get locked into their home and are helpless. We give rides for dialysis members. That's life-saving services. That it's affected, even if NOTA gets shut down for a snow day, they're scared just for a day being off. So these people really have a lot to worry about because, it's a really economical service. I like to say, we only charge $1, to transport these people from door to door within Oxford, Addison, and Orion, and $2 if we go outside of our areas. And our areas are expanded. A lot of transportation companies only stay within the townships. We actually go beyond that. We go as far east as DeQuinder Road. We go as south as Squirrel Lake Road, which encompasses the Troy Beaumont Hospital, Auburn Hills, Rochester, Oakland Township, and we also go into Clarkston, parts of Bloomfield, and Brandon Township as well. Our border on the west is M15, Dixie Highway, Telegraph. So we do go outside of our areas quite a bit, which expands people's options for doctors and places of employment. We also network with SMART, so we'll take people to Great Lakes Mall. They can then catch a SMART bus, and if they want to continue service down into areas that we don't transport, it opens it up. They can also access MTA if they want to go to the north, which is Mass Transit Authority, which services the northern area like into Flint. So there's options that we can give these people that would not have it if it was not for NOTA.
And you're the director of NOTA. How have you seen NOTA and the services you provide change the lives of people in our area?
Oh, there's so many stories. I spoke with a lady yesterday who said, I never guessed I would have to ever use the NOTA bus. She said, I was employed, I had a car, I worked at Delphi, had a great job. One day I got into an accident. And she said, if it wasn't for NOTA, I would have lost my job, my car, and probably my house. She said, because you took me to work, you took me to the doctor's appointments and to the therapy sessions that I needed. And she was almost in tears. She said, this is so imperative. She said, and I would see the buses go by, these white buses with green, and not really even pay attention to them because I never needed it. But she said, you just don't know what tomorrow will bring. And I thought that was such a good story to tell. There's also, we also transport a disabled veteran. He's very distinguished. And he is a professor at Rochester College, and we take him to work every day. Just a lovely gentleman. And another story is a lady who's blind that we take. I spoke with her today just about NOTA and the service, and she was also very moved. She said, Lynn, without this service, she said, I'd have to rely on friends. She said, it's so nice. I can use my Braille telephone. I can communicate, make the appointments. I can, go to the dentist on my own. She said, I would never be able to do that. She teaches blind classes at the library in Rochester and also in Pontiac. And so it's just wonderful to hear these stories.
And so this proposed millage that we're going to vote on August 5th is essential to your survival, would you say?
It absolutely is. If this does not pass, and the way the millage is, it's in 3 communities, Oxford, Addison, and Orion, and it can pass in all or none. It's individual communities. So if one community it does not pass, then that community has a choice of either opting out of NOTA or contributing in some other way to stay in. So it's not an all or none, it's individual community by community, but we really need to have all communities pass this because without it, if all of them were to fail, we would have to cut half of our operation. So we're hoping that we can continue.
So I'm a voter. I'm voting on August 5th. What do I need to know about NOTA and this proposed millage in order to make an informed decision on that day?
Well,
what are the bare essentials?
The bare essentials are that we're only asking for existing service. So the amount that we're requesting is just 0.25 mils, and it's only up to. And when I say up to, it's because we've lost these grant funds. If for some reason the grant funding comes available in the next 5 years, we aren't going to ask the taxpayers to pay that 0.25 mils. We will reduce that amount because we just want to maintain the existing service. We're not asking for bells and whistles. We're not asking for buildings. There's nothing but just the bare essential existing service of 13 routes and to replace our vehicles. So it's really, it's a value. I think NOTA offers a value in it that it only costs for an average homeowner $12.50. That's less than the cost of a pizza in a whole year. And it's a value not just economic, but it's a value to the people that use it. It's a value to the families of the people that use it. So if your mother were to, may not use it now, and you say, well, Mom's there, she has her own car, she's driving, but if one day she falls and breaks her hip and she's in a wheelchair, now the sons and daughters have to take off work to take her to the hospital and therapy. With NOTA, it's $1 or $2, she's on her way dealing with it on her own. It's these things that you just don't know that might come up that people need to consider because you just don't know what life will bring. And NOTA's a value not just economic and to the people, but it's a valued service, and I think it's valuable, and I think that it's one of these essential services that I think communities should offer, especially the seniors and disabled.
Absolutely. I think a community is judged based on how they treat people who can't help themselves. So thank you for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or did we cover it all?
Oh, actually, if you want to get involved with helping our mission, as far as there's a Friends Committee, which is the Supporters of NOTA Committee, and it's headed by James Barnhart, who used to work with NOTA, and he's left, but he still has a passion for NOTA, so he's agreed to start this up. And if anyone's interested in joining it, there's an email. It's notamillage.org. So if you please email him, and it's notamillage@gmail.com. I'm sorry, that's the email account. So please email him, and he will let you know what you can do to help our efforts further.
And you can also check out the NOTA website as well, right? Yes,
the NOTA website is notaride.org. We've recently moved into the old Orion Schools bus garage, and we really love our new home. It's over on East Jackson Street in Lake Orion, and you're welcome to come and visit us there. But our website has all our information on there. It's notaride.org. It has our phone numbers, our names, so you can always contact us through that, through our phone numbers, and we'll be happy to help and let you know where you can further assist.
All right, Lynn, thank you so much for being on our show today, and
good
luck with everything. August 5th is that vote, so be sure that you're informed and visit the NOTA website. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Orion Outreach.